you actually get the opportunity to go before a parole board. So tell us how that. By the way, you did some other cool stuff in prison. I just want to point out you joined a creative writing program. You joined programs where you could volunteer. You worked in Special Olympics for kids. So you started finding ways to be productive, which is great. And then how do you get before the parole board?
Well, since I had a 15-year to life sentence, they brought me up on you're able to go to the parole board 1 year before your parole date, and then they determine if you're suitable, and if you're not, then they could give a parole denial anywhere between 3 years to 15 years. They say, oh, you're not suitable, come back in 3 years or come back in 15 years. So it's really up to them to decide on that spectrum. But yeah, after my Sparrow in the razor wire moment, and after grieving my father's death, I began to look into how can I make an impact on this yard, and that's when I started getting involved with groups. I helped create some groups, and suddenly I felt more alive for once than I ever had, more than even when I was running in the gang, or even when I was hustling in prison. This is like I saw such meaning and purpose in helping other men around me, and for once it made me feel good inside. So I was really getting involved with those programs, and then I went to the parole board the first time in 2013. They gave me a 5-year denial. They said come back in 5 years. It was based mostly or solely on my prison write-ups and all those things. And then I filed this petition to advance my hearing at about a year and a couple months after, which then they granted, and they said, you know what, you've done, like I kind of laid out, like, this is what I've been up to since my parole denial. This is what the board asked me to look into. I think I've addressed it, and I respectfully request to be brought back early. And you can do one of those requests per denial. The common belief in prison was you have to wait at least 3 years. I don't know where that came from, but in prison, that's another type of culture where men hear one person or men hear several people, and suddenly it becomes, oh, that's common knowledge. Everyone knows that. And I this doesn't make sense. I don't see anything that says we have to wait 3 years. So I filed mine at 1 year, 2 months. They granted it, brought me back into the parole board, asked what I had been up to since then. And then they suddenly told me, we feel that you're no longer a threat to society, and you're now suitable for parole. So then I was released November of 2015.
How many days, weeks, or months was it between them saying you were no longer a danger to society before they let you go?
150 days. So the standard is, because after they say you're suitable for parole, they have to check my parole plans. They had to make sure that they did everything properly. If there was notifications for the next of kin or victims and everything like that. And then the governor still had to sign off on it. So those next 150 days, I saw a lot of men that, the few men that were able to be found suitable before me, I think they lived those next 150 days on eggshells, and I didn't want to live like that. And I knew intentionally, I have 150 days. This is my 150 days to begin mourning and grieving the loss of these friendships that I've built over the years, because I most likely will never see these men ever again. And we're not going to be connected, our lives will never be together. So it's another form of grieving. And so I made sure I wanted to be present and just remember these amazing human beings that I'm leaving behind, these amazing friendships that I built over the years, and just being present with it.